Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. It has been a while since we just played with makeup and I have a bunch of new products to try. So we're going to do pretty much a full face of new makeup, first impressions, and the likes. So if that's something you're into, make sure to keep on watching and don't forget to subscribe because I upload every other day and that'll be the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. So if you want to jump into a bunch of new makeup and new to me makeup, stay tuned. All right, so some of these I did already review on like TikTok or Instagram, and some of them I've only used once, and some of them I haven't used at all. So jumping into primer, we're gonna start with I always don't know what to call this brand, but this is Gwen Stefani's new line, GXVE. So we're gonna try this. This is the All-Time Prime Multi-Use Prep and Smooth Face Oil. I'm gonna take a few drops on my fingers. I did already do my full skincare routine. So following up with a face oil that is also supposedly smoothing, I think it's going to be really cool. And today we're not doing anything matte. I'm using all pretty much cream makeup or a bunch of cream makeup. So we're going to try that out today. All right, now that we are primed, I'm going to jump into, this is from the brand Salt New York. And this is a cream makeup refillable palette. And I did pick 4 colors of my own. We've got a Complexion product, we've got highlight, bronzer, and blush. So I'm going to start by grabbing my Alamar Cosmetics bronzer brush, which I actually prefer for this kind of cream complexion. And I'm going to take a little bit of this. There's a mirror in here, but I'm just going to grab a bigger one. And I'm going to see how this looks. So right off the bat, I really like this color. I believe this is the second lightest color. You'll notice that it's not like a ton of coverage, but it is definitely giving me coverage. I'm going to build up a second layer just to see how that looks. Definitely very perfected and very no makeup. I do have a little bit of discoloration on my cheeks and on this side. I'm not seeing it. So it's definitely giving me coverage. And I think it looks good. It's marketed as a foundation and a concealer. I'm thinking in this case, I'm only going to like it as a foundation, but it's still a very pretty product. I definitely like the finish on this. It is very glowy and very hydrating. Now, for somebody like me who does like a matte finish, I would probably still powder this. But either way, I'm liking it. I am going to grab a tiny bit more on a wet beauty sponge just to see how that is with building up the coverage. I definitely like the sponge application because it's adding the coverage where I really feel like I need it. And it still feels very perfected, but the sponge is also picking up a little bit of the like oil in there, which is helping it to feel a little bit less, I don't want to say less dewy, but less dewy, if that makes sense. It is still definitely a very dewy finish, but not to the same degree. Switching to another brush, we're going to go into the bronzer contour shade. Not going to go in with too much because I'm not sure how pigmented it is, but I am just going to press that into the hollow of the cheek. And then once I like where it is, I'm just going to blend upwards. As usual, I think the sponge is going to make it work a little bit better. Definitely getting more of a shadow on this side, so it is a nice complementary color, but I feel like the brush was almost moving some things around, so I'm going to use the sponge on its own for the other side. And I think that's the opposite issue, where I just don't think I'm getting enough coverage with the sponge. So I think with this one, the best option is to throw it on with your brush and then blend it out with the sponge. All right, so I'm still really loving the way that it's looking. Still a little bit shiny for me, but we'll get into that later. Grabbing, this is the IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe Complexion Brush. I'm going to start with the smaller side, and I'm going to take a little bit of the highlighter shade, and I'm going to pull that from the brow around the cheekbone. And then with the clean side of the brush, I'm just going to pull that down. I really don't think the highlighter was necessary. It is that glowy, but you know, you got to try everything. And lastly, with the big side of the brush, I'm going to take some of the blush tone, and we're going to add some color to the cheeks. Definitely a very flattering tone. It looks very neon in the pan, but going in with a light hand and blending it out, it's just a very pretty soft flush of color. Again, I think just pressing over it lightly with a sponge will bring it all to life. Very no makeup, so I'm liking it, but I still feel like I have a little more shine than I would like. So I'm gonna prime my eyelids off camera, throw on a quick brow, and add just a tiny bit of powder, and I'll be right back for the next item. All right, I am back. Brows are done, eyes are primed, and I did take a tiny bit of translucent powder on top of the face, and I like the way everything is looking, but I feel like I toned down the bronzer and blush a little too much. So next I'm going to jump into, this is from the brand Alley Oop. This is the Stack the Odds cream product. So I'm just going to take a tiny bit of the cream bronzer here, I'm going to use a bigger brush, just to add a tiny bit more dimension to the cheeks. And I'm also going to take that blush tone right on top. I think this one is marketed as a satin finish. The other one is a dewy finish. So when you take something that's satin on top of powder, it's usually going to sit a little bit better because, you know, satin and matte finishes meant to have a powdery finish, whereas the illuminating finish was definitely, you know, a little bit more on the glowy dewy side, maybe even borderlining on oily. That is very pretty. I'm going to take my powder brush with no additional powder and just lightly set it down just so that it doesn't move. That's actually really pretty, but still very soft and natural, which I guess lately has been my vibe. Jumping into eyes, I think we're going to go a little bolder. This is from ATHR Beauty. This is the new Citrine Crystal Eyeshadow Quad. Definitely like your perfect neutral palette kind of thing. And I'm going to jump into the only matte shade in the palette, which is, I think it's called Midsummer. And it almost has on the brush a little bit of like a corally brown undertone. And I am going to take that in the upper crease of the eye. Once I have it where I want it, I'm going to take quite a bit more, and I'm going to pack that on a little bit lower, and then just continue to blend up. Something I do love about the ATHR eyeshadow formula is that it really does build. So even if you take a single matte color, you can get a full-on defined smoky eye with dimension. Whereas there are so many eyeshadows where it just kind of turns either muddy or powdery, and ATHR is not like that. I get, like, do you see that dimension? It's well blended, it's got some nice color to it, but it doesn't look like you need 9 browns to get just a gradient of color on the eye. Grabbing a brown eyeliner, this one is Whiskey from Beauty For Real. I'm gonna add a little bit of this to the waterline. With a pencil brush and that same brown shadow, I'm just going to buff around the eyeshadow. And then once I get to the outer corner, I'm just going to kind of wing the lower lash into that upper lid so you get that wash of color around the entire eye. Next, I'm going to go into this really vibrant metallic shade up here, which is called Citrine. And I am going to take that on a flat packer brush. And as always, I'm going to give it a quick mist with some setting spray. You don't always need it, but for me, I like that really high shine metallic, so adding that spray helps. Look how beautiful that color is. While it is a little tacky, I'm going to take a tiny bit more brown and just pat those two edges where the two colors meet. That is so pretty. All right, I don't have a mascara to do today, so I'm going to do this on this eye, throw on mascara, and I'll be right back. So under normal circumstances, I would throw a lash on, but because the skin is so like soft and light cream and not a ton of powder, I really don't want to go too heavy on the eye because I feel like it's going to look off balance with the cheeks and everything being so soft. Now I do have 3 lips in front of me, and I don't know which one I want to use. We've got a pinky nude, we've got a peachy nude, and we've got a red. And I don't know which one I want to do because I think I'm going to start with the peachy one. just to see how it looks. This is Fenty Beauty in the shade Pose Queen. We're going to try it without a liner. Definitely on my complexion, very nude. I think it's a little monochromatic with the eye, which I kind of like. But I feel like I want to see the other lip on as well. So this is lip 1. This is going to be, again, Pose Queen from Fenty. Next up, we're going to try All In from Beauty For Real. For me, this is a little more what I would normally gravitate towards. It's a little bit pinker, almost like a Pillow Talk pink. And I think because it's a little more of that mauve-y cool tone against the warm tone eye, it just, I think, matches a little bit less. So you're getting a little bit more statement out of the lip. Because I need to be difficult, we're going to try the third lip as well. This is also from Gwen Stefani's line, and this is in the shade Original Recipe, which is your classic Gwen Stefani red. This one I'm definitely going to use a liner. This is going to be full red from Makeup Forever, and we're going to take that bullet right on top. And that is such a beautiful red. I think it has just the right undertone that it doesn't look too cherry, but it really is like the perfect red, and I love it against the warm tone eye. Of the three, I kind of think I like the pink best, but since the red is on, I guess that's what we're wearing today. But I think I'm really happy with it. You know, which of the lips do you think you like more? The peachy one, the pinky one, or the red one? Now that I have the red lip, I feel like I really want to lash, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to behave. I think I'm happy with everything I tried today. I think the standout is probably the red lip. I kind of want to wear it with like lashes and a little more of that like sultry, silvery taupe old Hollywood eyeshadow. And I just think everything as a whole looks very fresh. I think with the skin being so soft, the red might be a little intense, but either way, I really like it. What do you think? As always, let me know your thoughts down below. I would love to hear what you have to say. But overall, I am very happy with everything. Let me know, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.